are doing animal chores and chores. I can't talk sometimes. I can't get my words out. And I want to tell you what I did. I have, hold on, I'm going to open it in just a second. I have 2 mama chickens that are extremely broody. So that means like they want to be mamas. They want to hatch some eggs and they are protecting those eggs. So my friend has her daughter has chickens. She has a rooster and I think like 4 or 5 hens. And I asked her the other day if she would trade me some fertile eggs for some of my non-fertile eggs because we don't have a rooster. And she did. And I put them in this coop. And her eggs are green and my eggs are brown. So we're able to tell the difference. And so far for the last couple days, they have been sitting on these eggs. And it's so exciting because I'm like, oh my word, if this actually works, this is going to be the cutest thing in the entire world. And I'm so excited. If it doesn't work, we literally had nothing to lose but some eggs. And although I don't want to waste food or be wasteful, it would have been worth the try. So the 2 on the bottom are sitting on the blue eggs. And that one is just sitting on non-fertile eggs. But the 2 on the bottom are sitting, they're green eggs. They're sitting on green eggs. No, we're not going to bother these mamas because they are keeping those eggs warm so that their babies will come out. I just want to see them. You just want to see them? Well, you can see them. There's no babies coming out yet. So leave them alone or they're going to peck you. Hi. Okay, leave her alone. She's going to get mad at you. Come on. Let's let those mamas do their job.
Okay.
We don't have any eggs in there for us yet. It's too early.
Okay.
Here is another trick I do. If the chickens happen to be out with the goats, we spread their feet along the fence line so the goats can't get to it, but the little chickens can stick their heads out and eat. It's pretty fun. All right, I'm out here in the greenhouse just looking everything over and trying to encourage myself to go water this field. We don't have running water out here. We actually don't have power. The garden is about 300 yards from the house, so we can't even run a line from our well to it. This was just the only open area that we could put a garden in pretty quickly. All the rest of the property is extremely wooded, so it would take a lot of work to get a spot cleared, and we were already working on clearing a home site. So that's why it's down here. Plus, it's a beautiful spot, right next to the pond, next to the creek, next to the pavilion. It's got its perks. So today was supposed to be, actually yesterday and today, was supposed to be an extremely stormy few days. And yesterday was a little cloudy and we might have got a drizzle. And today, I mean, as you can see, the sun is shining and the sky is blue and it is not anything near what was forecasted. But that means I have to go out and water everything manually. So there's my dilemma. We are working on getting set up to be able to pump out of the pond or one of the creeks that borders the area. We just haven't got that far yet, and we just haven't had the resources to do it. So for now, I carry pitchers of water back and forth. It's a good workout anyway. So I wanted to show you what's growing in the garden and what's growing in the greenhouse. I planted a lot the last few days. I showed you some of that. And out there I've got growing all of our kale, pretty much all of our greens. So Napa cabbage, I've got a purple cabbage, a green cabbage. I've also got broccoli and cauliflower, some collard greens, all the things. We'll have a good variety coming out. Those things we like to eat fresh. We don't really prefer frozen broccoli and cauliflower, but we will eat it. If I have extra, I will freeze it, and it will get put to good use. But things like kale and obviously lettuce, spinach, we like to eat those fresh. So I didn't plant an overabundance to put up. Also knowing here in our zone and in our climate, I'm able to grow all of that again in the fall. So right as the spring crops are, the spring greens are ending, I'll have a little lag there, which I could probably still do some heat tolerant lettuce. Then right in the fall, I'll be able to pick it back up again. Also, what I did last year was grow in the floor of the greenhouse. So I have that option to even extend it further into winter. So a lot of the stuff I'm planting for spring, I'm not planting with the intention of putting up for fall and winter, you know, until I'm able to grow those again. Now, for the summer crops, I will plant enough to put up. I want to be able to have salsa and spaghetti and different squashes and pumpkins and things all year long. We only have a small window to grow all that stuff. I could grow it in our greenhouse, but our greenhouse really isn't big enough to support that much. So I will grow enough of those summer crops to be able to put up and eat all year long. The last few days I have been really busy potting up tomatoes, potting up peppers. I've got a variety of peppers growing. I have some California bell peppers. I call them Cali Bell. I have a mini bell pepper and a lilac bell pepper, which I grew last year, and the kids loved the minis. They're only about this big. Well, the problem was I got the seeds mixed up. So I don't know what's a lilac bell and what's a mini bell. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. Maybe flip a coin and be like, oh, you get to go in and you get to go in, and hope that I have enough of each and not an overabundance of one, which really, the only thing I would be disappointed with is the mini bell, because the kids really like eating those. The lilac bell tastes just like a bell pepper. So if I didn't have enough of those, it wouldn't be the end of the world. They're purple and I love them. So I would be disappointed, but it wouldn't affect our food supply any. I've also got a lot. I think I've got 90% of our tomatoes potted up. I went really big with the Hungarian heart tomato, which is a paste tomato. I tried growing Amish paste last year and it did not do very well. The Hungarian heart got nice and big. They were a good meaty flesh, and I think they will be perfect for canning tomatoes, canning tomato paste, and making our own sauce. I also did a large variety of Cherokee Purple and Bonnie's Best because I find those to be my favorite. And I tried out some new varieties such as Blue Beauty, which is a Baker's Creek. I also went with Brad's Atomic Grape because that just looked like a lot of fun. If you don't know what that looks like, do a quick Google search. It is so cool, and I think the kids will be excited. Hopefully that will be one they want to eat. I also went with Matt's Wild Cherry Tomato, which is a local cherry tomato here where we live that my friend gave me, so it will always have room in the garden. And it is just like the name. It's wild. It grows so big and it's so prolific, you really only need 2 plants and you've got your entire cherry tomato harvest for 2 years. Went with another basic Chadwick cherry, which is just another good cherry tomato, and also I believe it's called Wesperian peach. I might be saying that wrong. It came from M.I. Gardner and it looks like a little peach. It's yellow and it's fuzzy. It's really, really good and it's fun to grow. People get a kick out of getting that one. So that's about it for my tomatoes. I may be missing a few, but if I am, I'll include them in the next tour. And you'll get to see them grow in the field. I also have some nasturtiums going. I love growing nasturtiums. They are a beautiful flower to have popping out there. They taste delicious and they're a great pest deterrent. So they're an all-around excellent flower to have in the garden. They also look beautiful in hanging baskets and in landscaping, so they will always find a place here with us. I'm also growing for the first time this year Zinnias and Dahlias, as well as some Bachelor's Blue Button. I want to add a little more flowers and variety out there. Plus, my daughter and my son are just all about the flowers. So I started a few to see how they go. Not really going to hold my breath because I've never grown flowers before. I cannot seem to keep any of them alive. And so we're just going to plant them out and hope for the best. My celery is also looking really good. I potted those up a few weeks ago. They were really crowded in the tray they were in. So I just can now notice they are starting to take off. I have a abundance of collard greens and little kale plants. I think I'm just going to go ahead and plant them. I have some room in the spring bread, and even though I know I'm not going to put those up, I know that my animals can eat that. So it's not a waste. I know that I have friends and family that will eat it. So I think today I'm just going to go ahead and put those up. Also, one thing I grew for the first time this year that I had been seeing a lot of is kohlrabi, and I've never personally eaten a kohlrabi, but everyone rants and raves about it. They said it's a good vegetable to throw in soups and stews. You can also make like a French fry out of it. So I thought, and they look really cool. If you've never seen a kohlrabi, Google that one too. So I decided to go ahead and give it a try. I had really poor germination when they were inside under the lights. Out of the whole tray of like 72, I think I got maybe 10. So I reseeded them, got a few more sprouts, and just threw the whole tray out in the greenhouse, and now I've got an abundance. So I will plant more of those, I think, out in the field too, to be able to gift to people. Because I see them in the grocery store, but they're like tucked away and hidden, and they're kind of expensive, and they're not a known thing. So I think if I could give those to people, they would be more inclined to try it. And it's just not a common vegetable, so I like growing uncommon things. That's the beauty of gardening, right? Also have a variety of herbs, some things that I started last year that have really taken off this year that need a home in the garden as well. So that is the greenhouse. I'm going to take you out to the field and show you what is growing out there. Alright, out here, like I said earlier, I have a large variety of greens growing. They're not very big, but I will show you them because I feel like seeing the garden where it is now and then seeing it at its peak really does it more justice. It doesn't look like much now. Things are small. There's a lot of empty spaces. But when you see it come together, I think it will inspire you to do the same yourself. It can get a little overwhelming seeing all these beautiful pictures of all these beautiful gardens, and you're like, I could never do that, or mine doesn't look like that. And you don't see the humble beginning from which it came, that I feel like it can become out of reach or something that just gets brushed off. Like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have that gift or talent. So showing it, I think, at its best and at its worst, at its beginning, at its end, and all that's in between really encourages me, because I can look back and see where it came from. But I wanted to encourage you too, that even if yours doesn't look like what somebody else does, and it's not just the garden, it could be your home, it could be your car, it could be anything. Don't be so quick to think that what you're doing or what you have is not enough, because you only see a curated spot, a little square of somebody's life. So out here I direct seeded some Napa cabbage, some bok choy, some spinach. I also went ahead and direct seeded all of my beets, all of my radishes, turnips, rutabagas, all went direct seeded. I don't like babying seeds, so if I can put something in the ground and it's gonna grow on its own, I mean, that's like the ultimate goal, right? So some of my little seedling starts look a little rough, but my aunt encouraged me to just leave them in the ground, let them keep going. They're going to take off. It's going to be fine. Nothing to worry about. Don't give up, she says. So that's all of that. I've got peas growing over here, and I'm going to come up with some way of trellising them. I think I'm going to get some bamboo stakes because we have plenty of it, and some twine, and kind of just make a simple trellis that way. Really trying to come up with frugal ways of gardening because now that the biggest expenses, the greenhouse, the compost, are done, I want this to just maintain itself, and I want this to be a cost-effective endeavor. And I believe it can be. And then I've got my garlic and my onions still going strong. I planted those last fall. Got some cilantro I direct seeded that has not germinated yet. I'm going to give them a good watering and see if they will take off. Also planted some dill that hasn't germinated yet. It's too soon for that, but I'm going to give them a good watering as well. As well as some parsley that I put in. It's all looking fantastic. I'm really excited to have my fresh herbs back once again. I dehydrated a lot of them last year, and thank God for that, because we've had all of that all year. I'm going to take you over and show you the spring bed. Too much going on right now, but I think that's the beauty of it, is seeing it when it looks like this, and then seeing it in a few months when it's at its complete peak and everything is just overflowing more, seeing where it came from. And I think that's true in a lot of things. You can always appreciate something when you know what it's been through, or you know what that person's been through, and then you see them today and they're thriving and they're excelling. And it's just a blessing to watch something completely go from nothing to something and transform into a beautiful thing. So thanks for following me around my garden and listening to me ramble on about my plants. And I hope this video inspires you to get out there and grow something great, and to know that you are going to do great no matter what you put your mind to. Thanks for stopping by the farm, and we'll see you next time.